Welcome back everybody, we're back into another game because the first one was so quick that we managed to sneak into another lobby. This time it's Magik and Lechu, two Polish players. They're not really that experienced with Settlers United. They came from a Facebook group that we have. And versus captainhannes and mclubbe. Also
or
quite...
mclubbe. Maybe he's Scottish.
I have no clue. They're also quite new players, I would say. I don't really see them playing. However, they're playing in a tournament. And this is their second game. This is the losers bracket game. So whoever loses this match will go out of the tournament completely. We'll see. This game should be fairly close. We have two Romans on each side, and again crisscross positions, players being very close. I'm not really sure about the bans, but I think both teams just prefer Romans, as that's the race they're most experienced with.
Yeah, so we have fully Roman game with mixed spots. Also quite nice spots, just like in the last game. I would say even better now. There's a lot of playing ground, I think. They have a nice lakes near their starting positions. I mean, mclubbe and Lechu. They have making some fishermen is possible quite quick. I think that every Egypt player would love this small lake on the starting spot.
No, it's true, and this is again only Roman game, and I have a bit of a PTSD after yesterday. Let's hope this one does not go into 3 hours. I really do. Yeah, but they're very close, so I presume there should be some action quite fast. And yeah, as I mentioned before, this is one of the lower level games, so we should have adjust our expectation accordingly, and this cast will be a bit more of a maybe tutorial guide of how what mistakes and what new players should avoid doing and what they're doing great.
But I think that both captainhannes and at least captainhannes made okay forests. I mean, the lumberjacks and the forester, it's quite fine. But on the other hand, Magik forest, it's quite okay too. I mean, the direction of the buildings, it could have been better, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, we'll see how they proceed. Early on, the most important thing is to quickly use up all your shovels. Get an early small or even medium house, also fine. Not the meta right now, but I would say it's not that too big of a mistake if you go for a medium house immediately. And start off building your basic material production buildings, such as foresters, woodcutters and sawmills and whatnot. How you place them, in which order, depends on your starting position. Here we can see I'm looking at blue spot, captainhannes. There isn't that many trees in here, so I would say he made the right call of building the forester very quickly. Because once you cut those down, your woodcutters will stop working, so you want to build the forester quickly because it takes some time for the trees to grow.
Yeah, but he will have a new forest quite quickly as he's finishing a tower there. I think the foresters above Lechu and captainhannes are not too good, but the location was kind of difficult for them there, from what I see. But of course, it's not a perfect forest, as the forester should be preferably should be on the left side of the woodcutters, in order to have the shortest way from the forester to put a forest, and from the woodcutters to the trees that are growing.
Yeah, I mean, That's what ideally should happen, but as long as it's in the proximity and as long as the forester has at least a little bit of space to plant the trees, the forest should work just about fine. Maybe you need to add a woodcutter's hut in order to compensate for poor positioning of your buildings, but overall, if you are like beginner player, what you should focus on is to have correct buildings in correct order, and then worry about the positioning. That should be the second thing you're worrying about once you've mastered your build order first.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we see Black adding another forester, so he will have four woodcutters into one forester. That's a bit of an imbalance in here. I think he should add another forester, considering there aren't that many trees. Oh, he's adding another one on the bottom, so I didn't notice. Yeah, so it's a bit farther from the woodcutters, but I mean, if he moves the working area a bit to the north, it should be also fine.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that he put this forester that way, because he had quite a lot of space for it, quite near this woodcutter.
I'm not really sure why, it's just a preference.
And as we can see, let's take a look at the yellow guy, I mean the magic, as he's going to the ocean, I mean to the border of the map.
He's probably going for the rivers, right? Because there's no rivers. Oh no, there's a small river by the lake, and there's one on the bottom. I'm not really sure why. Maybe he thinks he should take the mountain here. You can see that the blue guy on the left-hand side also had was trying to take the land over there, but I guess he realized there's plenty of space on the right-hand side, and that's where he is expanding currently.
I mean, I just checked it. Magic has 2 places for water, so he doesn't really need to pile there quickly. I think that the middle players have bigger problem with the water because they have no access to any quick rivers.
You're perfectly right. Yeah, you're right. Black does not have the river access, and same for the pink guy. So they'll have to go all the way bottom, and there is a possibility that the players on the outside will cut them down from the rivers completely. More or less completely. I mean, the way will just be too far. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what they're gonna do in this case. Black is building the tower towards the right-hand side, but so is yellow, and yellow I think is going to be faster simply because that's like the only building he's shoveling currently. Yeah, so I'm not sure how they will solve that issue. Perhaps pink will go left? I don't know, because you can't. Your ally can't really send you water in this situation, so they're sort of stuck. And this doesn't happen much anymore, since we have the new map generation with lakes being close by. There's also a lake here, just unfortunate that neither pink nor black managed to capture the river. And they have no water in this case. I mean, no water close by.
Yep. We will see what they will do with that. But this will definitely be a problem for the 2 middle players. I mean, mclubbe and Lahu.
Yep, even a very experienced players would have very difficult time dealing with the water situation. And if you're a beginner, it's especially difficult for you to go very far across the map, manage the river. Ideally, you build a waterworks and you send the water, like you store the water with your market. I'm not really sure how they will approach this. You can see Magic is spying. That is yellow guy is sending the spy to black. Is doing fine in that regard. He's just looking what they're building. So is a pink, interestingly enough. Yeah. So they're see everything. Fine.
That's good for them. As we know, well, that the map awareness, the enemy awareness is a very important part of winning games. I mean, not only if you want to snipe a tower, which is of course quite a nice thing to do, but also it's nice to have the awareness of what's going on, and I think it's even more important in those games.
I'm not sure if they realize that there's a water issue on this map. I don't think so, because like neither of them, neither black nor pink, is going into I don't know, south, I guess, trying to capture the river. Maybe they'll think about it later, or maybe they don't even need it because they will, I don't know, rush, do some other crazy stuff. We can see pink has 2 wineries in this case and already shoveling iron smelter. He found some iron, presumably. I'm not really sure how good this is. I don't think it's too good, but he decided to place the mine anyway.
But on the same time, mclubbe is trying to build some mountains, some mines before having any smelter or even starting to build it. So I think that building quick weapons on this level of playing, it might do a job. No, what we can see is that both outside players, I mean Magic and captainhannes, has cut off the middle players from the access to the rivers. So they'll have to figure something else out.
And I just remembered from my previous cast, one of the players, either captainhannes or mclubbe, they preferred building small residences, and I think it's blue, it's mclubbe, because he already has 3 and there's no medium one in sight. So he's the small residence lover, I think. We'll see if he continues that tradition, because on the other stream I sort of hinted that it's not the best approach to gaining settlers, but I mean, he likes it, then he likes it, I guess.
Well, whatever works for you. I mean, if it makes him happy, then it makes him happy. Well, what we can see is that there's this mclubbe, I think there's a large temple. Yep. Large temple building has just started. And at the same time, Lechu is building the blacksmith and the barracks.
At this point in the game, it's often on random maps, especially. You have to worry about your stones, especially as Romans. That's the downside of playing Romans and Egyptians, that your stone they disappear quite early, and you have to, with wood, or like with forest production, with wood production, sorry, you can sort of build it and forget about it, and it will work just fine. But with stones, you have to be careful because you cut them down, then you all of a sudden, even though you have 5 stone cutters and they don't have stones, they're only working, and you're in trouble. And in this case, we can see a yellow Magic. He sort of, I think, forgot to build additional stone cutters, and he's suffering from lack of stone. And similar case will happen to yellow, who only now finished the 3rd stone cutter. And I think that's a bit too few. You want to add another one, especially considering the ones in the middle will run out of stone quite soon.
Yeah, I've just noticed that they're not building enough stone cutters. As when I was checking it out just before you start to talk about it, all players in the game had only 3 stone cutters, and it's not enough for this moment.
Although black has only 1 working sawmill because the other is not receiving any logs due to the positioning. I think it's just better, a little bit better to place them close by so they receive the logs equally, and that's why maybe the stone issue will not happen to him. Well, we'll see. Now everybody's favorite Silent Night going on in the background.
Yeah, I've just noticed on the chat that some people are in love with this song, and some people feel that, well, that this song is like something you should change in your life and on your streams.
I think it's perfect. It's the theme of the tournament. It will be. Everyone will just remember it. And it's
Yeah.
for some reason it's in the Settlers 3 soundtrack video. And it's a bit choppy too, like it breaks down in the middle. But I guess that's the beauty of it, I guess.
Yeah, this year's Silent Night is going to rock your house. Definitely. The pace of this game is very slow, I would say. It's very calm, and they're not, well, they're not planning anything fast from what I see. Maybe Level might, but they're just building the buildings quite slowly. Not too much big action for now. Of course, there are quite a lot of mistakes in the way they built.
But so far I think the mistakes are equally distributed. The inner players seem to be slightly better shape, I think. I think black is, although I'm not really sure yet, maybe pink is equally as advanced because he has the weaponsmith already finished, and black is, well, he decided to go for the small temple. A bit too early for my taste because you don't have wine just yet. Maybe the weaponsmith would have been wiser to build first, but he will build that next. Although he placed the large temple first, so there's a hidden sort of queue in the settlers. They carry the materials to the building in order to the buildings how you place them. So he placed the large temple first, so that will receive the initial materials first, and that's a bit of a bummer because you need early soldiers in order to defend any potential attacks. You can see yellow also making weapons, as well as pink, whereas blue only now starting 2 iron smelters and a single weaponsmith, as far as I can see.
Well, what we can also see is that the pink guy, I mean Leku, is the first one who's building a farm in this game. I mean, the old players just refused to build any food for now.
Yeah,
Leku goes for 2 fishermen and a farm. Captainhannes nothing. mclubbe 1 fisherman, and Magic also nothing, just wineries.
Yeah.
So they just keep to drinking some wine, and that's it for them.
Yeah, Polish guys got the weapon production going early on, and they although Lechu is struggling with settlers for a bit, but the medium house should finish shortly, and that should solve that issue. Unsurprisingly, okay, captainhannes actually did build medium house. So I guess they must have watched our previous stream and they sort of fixed that part of the build, which is good.
You know, I think this is a one new thing for another new thing. If he has built a medium house, you should change the song from the Silent Night to something different, at least for one game.
Well, now it went away. I mean, I don't want to change songs too freely because I don't know which ones are copyright protected. I don't want to get my video then, muted in YouTube, so I'll just stick with this in a loop. So the Silent Night will come back. Now we're back to Romans. I believe Roman soundtrack. Oh, a bit of a...
Well, actually, which is quite a big mistake from who is building weapons, that's good. But he's not... Oh, he just started building a small temple. But his level 2 will be quite slow. And he will for sure stack up some some wine on wineries, probably.
Maybe let's see how the wood is coming to those small temples. They're built close by, so that means
Yeah.
they should free up that wine supply quite quickly, I'd say.
On the other hand, captainhannes already has 2 wineries. One is quite far away from the place it's putting wine, but he has 2 small temples, maybe too early. On the contrary, just before the wine started working, and the third winery is on its way. He has 2 iron smelters and 1 blacksmith, but no barracks, from what I see.
Yeah, barracks should be the next building he should invest into. Although he has the marketplace, will allow him to store the weapons, and he goes for the large temple. I mean, not my first choice I would be, but you do need the priest eventually in order to, have a convert. I would say that's a bit too early, even if you go for 4 wineries and 4 small temples very quickly. You get the convert around 30-minute mark. So building the large temple is a bit too soon, but I guess it's okay in this case.
An interesting choice by mclubbe, because he already has level 2, I think is the fastest in the game, and he went for level 2 spears, so he might be trying something offensive. I mean, as it gives him possibility to play offensively. At the same time, Magic is storing some of his bows, but he also doesn't have barracks. He's building a farm. He has quite enough wood, from what I see, but he's struggling with stones. Still struggling with stones. He's building second blacksmith and second iron smelter and the barracks. So I think that both teams are planning to make some soldiers. We'll see what will happen out of it.
It's worth pointing out that Magic did a very good job of replacing his stonecutters. The initial 2 he destroyed because he realized there's not that much stone close by, and he built the fresh ones on the fresh stone fields. So he should be out of that stone issue quite soon, providing he has enough settlers to carry the stones to the building sites. The other problem that now he has to worry about is iron. That mine was quite late. I guess he couldn't find a good enough of an iron mine. Sometimes it happens to everybody. The mines are very random, so it's worth to sending maybe more geologists to search the mountains quicker and discover those. Especially, I'll say, iron mines are more difficult to find because they're just more scarce.
What we can see is that the middle players, both Lehu and mclubbe, still doesn't see that they have no water. They're not even trying to get it.
Lehu does have a farm, shoveling another, but he's not really worried about the water. Let's see, maybe he goes for the one in the north. The one in the south is, I think, even farther away. Not really sure. I'm sure they realize it at some point. Hopefully not too late.
Yeah, I mean, they could just think that if they have no water, maybe it's a good time to go for a quick rush or something like that. Or, I mean, of course they should go to the water, but I'm thinking about the alternatives from that. But I don't think any rush will happen here. What we can see is that captainhannes is finishing at the same time a blacksmith. He's building swords and he's finishing a large temple. And I think that he has level 2, yes he does. And it's level 2 for swords. I think, no, he has no level 2 yet. But he will have it with large temple, and I guess he'll go for swords. And he may try to attack Lehu.
Yeah, I remember from last game, even the mclubbe and captainhannes, they were playing versus much stronger opponents, and they were not afraid to do some little attacks, even despite the overwhelming advantage of the enemy. So they might do something like that as well in this game. I remember one of them was producing gold early on. Can't see that just yet, but they have both discovered quite good gold veins, and they might opt to produce gold soon as well. And they will definitely need it if they plan to attack soon.
Yeah, as you can see, mclubbe has spears, and captainhannes has swords. He just did heavenly gifts. He has some gold, 7 bars, 1 spear and 2 swords. So I think that they're going to attack soon. But you can see like a spider, so they know about it.
Yes, indeed they do. Let's see what they do. Lex should have level 2 just soon, very soon.
Oh, Magic just finished the 3rd blacksmith. And he has no toolsmith yet. But he has still 2 hammers. So I wonder if this hammer will stay or not.
I think it should. He's not building that many buildings, unless that temple in the top right will pull additional builders. We'll see. I don't think so, but you never know. He did not.
The toolsmith will be quite soon, so. And he has lowered a bit his builders. It's 20%. I think initially it's 25 or not.
Yeah, it is 25, but I think he was just. I don't think he meant to lower them in order to save the hammer. I think he was just lucky in this case, but I mean, we take those. The toolsmith is already finished, and the guy should pick up the hammer, although one of the builders took it, and now there are more settlers coming to it. Let's see who takes the hammer, the builder or no, the guy to the toolsmith.
Okay, so he's safe of that. But at the same time, captainhannes just recruited his swords and just building some more. He still have some initial food, although he has only 2 mines, which is not enough. He should have like 3 coal mines and 2 iron mines at the time.
Yeah, the mines in random are not quite good. Even if you find good veins, the mines aren't usually 100% efficient. And as a rule of thumb, if the mine is 100% efficient, it will support, the coal mine will support a weaponsmith and an iron smelter. But in this case, you cannot rely on that, so you should probably build additional mines. For 2 weaponsmiths, you probably need at least 3 good coal mines and maybe even 2 iron mines in order to support them, simply to have them work at full capacity. We can see yellow added, as you said, 3 weaponsmiths, and they just cannot work at this point. They won't have enough resources. Although,
yeah, so it's just mistake to have so many blacksmiths that will just not work. It's better to build something else at this time.
Yellow going for the gold as well. Interestingly enough, he's not building. Oh no, he is building the gold smelter. So he should invest into bread quite soon. That's what he's doing, because his he will need a lot of coal in order to support additional gold production here.
Yeah, but from what I see, his food economy is going to collapse before all of this works fully. But Magic is attacking mclubbe, who is attacking Lehu at the same time.
Yeah, I saw the black eye, presumably mclubbe. He threw the eye, revealed the right hand side of Pink's territory, and he's attacking from the north. And at the same time, yellow is countering. A lot of going on all of a sudden. I wasn't prepared for that. Fighting in 2 places. But see the yellows attack first, because I guess black doesn't really have anything to target just yet. He did not reach the tower. And yellow, I mean, this tower is wide open at this point. He breached the door already. There's another attack going on from blue, from the south. So I guess pink is a bit in trouble right now. He's surrounded. But the tower fell from black, and yellow is going for more.
Yeah, so it's quite a dynamic game. I like it. I mean, their game is not perfect, but their attitude is quite nice. They want to try, they want to do something, and that's good.
Hannes making the use of the gold that he got from the gifts, and his tower falls. It's not the end of the world because it wasn't as important, but you can see his barracks are occupied. There is nothing he can produce at this point, and everything that he does will get immediately stabbed in the back by the spears. Let's see, yellow doesn't really care about helping him. He's just going for the eye for an eye, I guess, killing the black guy. And black is not backing off. He just wants to finish off the pink guy, and we might end up in a 1v1 situation pretty soon if they trade blows.
Yeah, that's quite possible. But I think that Kaleko might died sooner, as there are way more soldiers on him.
Yeah, but there's another attack going on from north, from yellow. He doesn't have combat power just yet, I believe. But he will probably take all those towers, because black has not much in his land. Another tower falls. There's only 3 towers left for black, and 3 towers left for pink. No soldiers there, and black is still not going back to his own land.
Yeah, he just stays with his spears on the enemy land, and does nothing. I think he should go just for a pink tower and crash his own towers, and just start rebuilding towers then. And it could save him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, for some players it's difficult to accept that you have to sacrifice the buildings you've been building for so long since the beginning of the game, so I guess they just maybe given up on saving that. He's now going back. There's 2 towers left, so I think maybe he will be able to save the tower on the left side, but there's not much left for him to build there. I mean, it's just a single tower.
Yep, so seems that Magic has to be quite fast with killing mclubbe if he wants to kill him. I mean, this one tower will fall for sure, but I think that mclubbe will be able to defend his last tower. He has an alpha, so now it will be 1 versus 1. I mean, even with this one tower, mclubbe cannot do too much, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he will have impact on the game, although there are some troops left for him. He might be annoying for yellow, might even wipe out this whole army if yellow decides to push. Blue is sending reinforcements to presumably defend that last tower from his ally. Yellow will try to attack, but I don't think he will be able to capture it just yet.
The problem of Magic is that he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shovels on his toolsmith that he could, he could use as iron for some weapons, especially in such a game. He shouldn't have made this toolsmith at all, I think, in this case, or he should just stop the production by toolsmith, because he's wasting his iron that he could use to build some more weapons than defend. That's a mistake.
Let's see, they're trying to retake the towers that black lost in the bottom. I mean, they should be able to. Yellow doesn't really have soldiers to defend it just yet, but as you pointed out, he's making shovels, although he stopped just now. He realized that the toolsmith is full, rightfully so, because another problem would be if that toolsmith got full. He wouldn't be able to produce any more tools necessary to further expanding his territory. He's making some gold, so if he decides to ever attack again, he will have the combat power, and he's making bread already, which is, I mean, what he needs at this point. He captured some of the resources from the enemy, from black. Not much food, though, I don't think, unless he already took it, and I haven't seen it. There's some fish lying on the ground, and one from the fisher that he crushed. Let's see if now yellow will be able to survive the attack of the remaining black and blue forces, because there are quite a few swordsmen and spearmen left.
A nice move by Magic. He's building a healer. That's good. Especially that he doesn't put too much protection. And what I think is quite important is that Magic has better food production than captainhannes. So if he's able to survive the next minutes, he might win at 1 versus 1.5 at this moment, as this mclubbe is half dead.
1 and a third of in less, because he's rebuilding
Oh,
his
look
own.
at that! Magic just took 4 swordsmen and is trying to do a backdoor. You see that?
I'm not sure if that's a good idea at this point, because he will get attacked, and I think he needs all the soldiers that he has to defend his front line. But I mean, bold move. If he's able to snipe some towers, good for him.
Well, the problem is that captainhannes has 12 soldiers there at his barracks. He's not sending anything from the barracks, so...
There are many towers to take, so I'm not really sure if 4 dudes are enough.
Oh, and Mike has just crashed his tower. A good move.
Nice reflexes. It was very close.
Yes.
He has more towers on the left and more towers on the right. Presumably he will crash this one as well. And that's what he should do. You should defend in one place where your whole army is.
captainhannes is moving his swords at his base to the last tower of Lehu. I thought that Lehu is dead, but he's not. He has still just 1 tower on the back.
Lehu's staying strong, and those dudes at the bottom, they're coming in.
Now Lehu has 2 towers. That's surprising.
Oh, yeah.
And he's rebuilding. So it's still 2 versus 2. I haven't noticed he's still alive.
He should be dead soon, though.
Yeah, he will be dead soon, but that's surprising. Oh, and now Magic is attacking these towers from captainhannes. But captainhannes has enough soldiers there to defend, I think. If he notices that there's anything, he'll just lose his swords there. And captainhannes and mclubbe are afraid of the Magic's army. They're not attacking him. And it seems that Lehu is going to die soon.
Yeah, last tower will fall. He tried, but they just have too much and they can go all over. So currently they have a bigger army, black and blue. However, yellow has better economy. Currently, he's making bread already. He should add the pig farm quite soon. He's also making gold, so he will be able to attack if needed. Whereas blue, because I mean black is quite not functioning just yet, he will need another half an hour to rebuild. Whereas blue does not have a working like any food production just yet. He only now finished 3 farms. It takes approximately 10 minutes for a farm to give some crops after you build it, so that's quite a bit of time. And I'm not really sure if he captured enough food or any food from pink in order to keep his weapon production going.
Oh, and what is worth mentioning, Magic has a convert. And I'm not sure if captainhannes, where is his priest? He for sure has no convert. He used everything on the heavenly gifts.
I guess the Magic realizes he probably finished black in order to play this 1v1 in the end. I'm not really sure if he will be able to. They're doing a good job of defending the south and north towers. He's going in though with the convert, as you said.
Yes, he could actually kill the mclubbe, I think. If the captainhannes doesn't send help, they can kill him. Well, we will see. But at the same time, captainhannes could just ignore his ally being killed and he'd just go for the Magic towers. And that would be it. I mean, the goal is to kill the enemies, not to keep your ally alive, right? I mean, it's always nice to keep him alive, but...
And the convict goes down on a bit of an injured soldiers. And after that, it looks like they're both backing off. They don't want to fight in this here. Maybe now Yellow should send in a volley in from his archers from his own land. He just did, killed 2 weak black soldiers, but he decides against attacking any further. I'm not really sure if I agree. Maybe he should actually try to taking those black towers. Or maybe he thinks it's not really worth, because black isn't really doing much at this point. He will need, as I said, another half an hour to rebuild.
What's also a good move by Magic, what is worth mentioning, that he's sending all of his fish to the iron mines. So it allows him to have at least small, but still production of some weapons.
His pig farm is very light. He's building it in the north. Quite a weird positioning, but he captured the land, so I guess he's using it. So there will be some time before he has some meat. But as you said, he's correctly sending all the fish to the iron, and he's making bread for the coal. So his production should be decent. Black slowly but surely creeping in, rebuilding essential parts of his settlement. Woodcutters, yes, he has to do all over again, and his people aren't happy. They're sort of kicking the dirt. They want to be here because they don't have places to live. That's what happens when you crush too many or you lose too many residences. Here people are dissatisfied because they don't have a place to live.
So mclubbe has a major real estate crisis.
Yep, like it's 2008 all over again. Although he's continuing building towers towards Yellow, I don't think he'll be able to crush much. Maybe the middle house, because Yellow kept the initial towers that he had in their border, and the game sort of stabilized at this point. Neither team is deciding to put any aggression on. Well, and we have Silent Night back at it again.
Surprising, but for now on, captainhannes has a still production of weapons. He has 2 blacksmiths that are fully working for now. He has built a Roman building that allows to burn the trees.
Yeah, charcoal maker's hut, that's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot the word.
It's not very efficient, but I mean, it's better this than nothing. He's adding the bakeries, so the bread will come on soon. Probably should also add some pig farm. There's a bit of a skirmish going on. Yellow is trying to take the tower that Black is building in the north. He might be able to, providing he goes there. I think Black doesn't have the soldiers to put in that tower, because spearmen don't go there by default. You need either the swordman or the archer. He's knocking on the tower already. Sorry.
He could just take it.
Blue is out of position, so the tower falls. So the question is, will he be able to hold this? As Black is knocking back on the doors again.
Yeah, but he's fighting on his own land now.
Now Festering Spell going on, Festering Fear. It's a bit of a misplay because it does not work on the enemy land, and Yellow just wasted a bit of mana. In the south, though, at the same time, Blue is making some moves. He sees a hole in Yellow's defenses, so Magic has to come down and react. Another Festering Fear spell going down.
This time a good one, I would say.
And Hans has to back off, and he still does not have a convert. He's been casting the Heavenly Presence like crazy. Yeah, but that little move in the south will allow the Black to capture a tower in the north, and my game just froze. Okay, it's fine.
And I think that it means that this medium house will die, but nothing more. See if it mentioned before.
Oh. For some reason, black destroyed his own tower, and then it's just destroyed some. I don't know why, but
I guess it was too early. It was just a mistake. It kind of funny one.
Weird. Yeah, I thought a bug or something, but no. Hans is moving additional swordmen from his barracks. It's worth pointing out he's still making exclusively swordmen. That might be risky for him, because if yellow keeps building the mix of spears and bows, his unit composition is way more effective versus just pure swords, especially if your gold count isn't that high. You need a lot of combat power.
The spears will just block the swords, and the bows will do the killing.
It looks like there's another fight going on north. This tower is getting back and forth, taken by once yellow, then black, and then back into yellow's hands. And blue is out of position all the time. He's just afraid of losing the towers in the south. Looks like in the end the yellow will keep the tower, at least for now. He's building more towers in the south to reinforce his position in this area. And he's still making gold, so his attacking capabilities are growing. As far as I know, blue is not making any gold right now.
Yes, and I think that Magic wants to kill mclubbe as soon as possible, but I think it's not important because mclubbe is not doing anything at the moment. He's not rebuilding. I think he might not know what to do now.
I mean, yellow shouldn't worry about black at this point, because I think black just given up on expanding any further, rebuilding. And he should just focus on his own economy, and he's doing that. He's building at all times, despite fighting so much. He keeps building, and he made those additional shovelers. So even though his building strategy isn't perfect, because he's building all over the place, especially hurts that he's building over this mountain, and the builders have to walk back and forth. He has enough shovelers, enough builders to sort of make this look okay in terms of buildings.
Yeah, I think that the attitude of Magic is quite good, even though he is not playing perfectly, of course. But he keeps on building. That's one of the most important things to do. And he keeps on sending spies to captainhannes to see what's going on. That's not a good thing. And captainhannes production just died. It will be resurrected quite soon, I guess, as he has some farms that are working. But for now on, it's completely dead. Let's take a look at his settlers. He has 63 settlers. At the same time, Magic has 42. But he's building much more buildings, so he might win actually, if he manages to survive. Because I think that on a longer game he might win. Captainhannes has 78 soldiers, and mclubbe has only 5 of them now. He has started to build something, but I don't think if his decisions are too good. I think he should just change the surplus into pioneers and pile back some land on his back. And just rebuild there. What he needs first are some residences, obviously, to make his settlers happy. Magic has already level 3. That's very good for him on swords. There's quite a huge advantage for him. His production should start to work quite nice quite soon, I guess. I mean, the first pigs will start to being produced. That's a bad word for pigs, but you get the idea. Quite soon. He still have some productions from the fishes. He has some spears on his barracks. So even though this is quite low level of playing settlers free, even though they don't necessarily have enough skills, Magic is, well, this skill level, Magic is doing a quite good job, I think.
Yeah, you're right. He has the correct proportion in terms of buildings. He has 4 working small temples. He has 3 wineries and added 2 more on the right side. Perfectly fine. Whereas Captain Hannes, sorry, has only 2 small temples and 3 wineries. I guess he needs to add another one. He built a questionable farm up in north. I mean, the farm is fine. He was sending the guy so far away down the hill, trying to capitalize on that left field over there. Luckily, he changed it back to the close by position. That farm should start working just fine. He's also adding the pig farm. Should add the slaughterhouse. He's not doing that already. No, he should add one before he forgets. And he's also making bread at this point, so his production should resume quite soon as they starting to carry the bread to pretty good coal mines that he has. They're around 50, 60%. One is even 100% mine. I'm not really sure if it's a new one or it's just that good.
Yeah, but for sure, Captain Hannes is restarting his production. He will have, of course, some problem with iron soon. He just have some iron, but he still have 36. That's quite a lot. Iron bars. He have some of them from Lechu, so he can still. He has only 2 blacksmiths, so he can still make a lot of weapons before he needs some pigs and a new iron production. And, well, his iron mine is working with the fishes. Same decision as Magic did. 100% of fishes are going to this iron mine. So, well, he will have some production for some time. The coal was a bigger issue.
And as I mentioned before, the unit composition favors Magic, the yellow guy at this point. Because blue is continuing making swords, and if they start fighting head to head, Magi will have an advantage unless blue goes for some tower snipes, which the swords are very good at. I think yellow has a bit of a settlers issue currently. Well, he will have soon. Yeah.
Yellow just built one backup tower on his back to be able to crush all of his towers on the front if he loses a fight. I guess that's the idea.
Yeah, pretty smart. He's also keeping tabs on the stone production. He keeps rebuilding the stone, and he even turned the desert into Greenland and the hill back behind the mountain. Smart move to have the iron production a bit closer to the mines and the mountain in general. We'll see if he decides to make a move, because he amassed quite a bit of gold. It's already a full storage. More than that, 63%. Now I'd like to also point out that black has actually not given up. He keeps rebuilding his country, albeit very slowly. And I think yellow Magic is trying to... No, they're just simple settlers picking up stones. The problem is black is making the charcoal and using all of the remaining wood that he has.
Yeah, he's self-trolling his production, so... I mean, he just uses most of his wood just for coal that he doesn't need. But well, at this time, Captain Hannes has two fully working blacksmith, and he has 16 swords.
And level 3 as well. You can just click it and recruit.
You haven't clicked it yet, but he has it. and he has a convert. So he has more soldiers, better production, and a convert. So he could just go in now. I mean, maybe not now, but in 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, but then yellow will have a convert of his own, so the window is fairly small, and yellow's production is not terrible. 2 weapons is working on and off. They should start picking up speed soon once the fresh meat starts arriving. There's already a bunch of pigs waiting to be, I guess, slaughtered, for the lack of a better word.
Slaughtered, yeah, that's the word. So he starts the meat production, and I guess he's waiting for level 3 for spears, as he's not recruiting for now.
He'll have that shortly, 15%, considering he has 5 now small temples. It should not take too long. And Captain Hans is recruiting level 3 on the swordman, and he's marching towards the front line with them.
Yep, it seems that he really likes swordsmen. I mean, level 3 swords are superb, I love them too. But I'm not sure if they are the best decision in this game.
They're good in small numbers when they have the advantage, and they're good for surprising raids on back towers and whatnot. They're not really that great at fighting head-on with enemy spears and bows. But we'll see what happens, because I feel like... Let's see the army numbers. Magic has 76 soldiers. Captain Hans is 90 something, and he keeps recruiting. He has another 14 swords, so that just might be, you know, enough to maybe breach a tower or two. Albeit blue does not have gold at all. I mean, other than a few singular bars that he got from the gifts.
Yeah, I think that Captain Hannes keeps on doing the heavenly gifts and refuses to make any converts.
He cast another one because he no longer has the convert, but it should hop on quite soon. Maybe he's waiting for that and he'll attack. I wonder if he goes for the north or south angle, maybe both at the same time to throw off the enemy. Whereas Magic is still waiting for the level 3 on the spears. It's 2% away, and it just clicked on. He should start recruiting right now. And he keeps expanding north. At the same time building a large tower in the south and another farm in the north, close to the border.
Yeah, I think that it's Captain Hannes who is under the pressure, because Magic has quite decent food production. He's building second pig farm. That's really nice. I haven't expected that to happen so quickly. So he actually knows what to build, and I think that Captain Hannes maybe also knows what to build, but is much slower than Magic. Doesn't have this, disciplined attitude towards building new buildings and mines, etc. And at the same time, Magic does it. So even though he has less soldiers at this moment, but he just started recruiting, and he has still some weapons. Well, I think that on a long play, Magic should win. It looks like that, but at this moment, he can still lose.
He keeps spying on the blue. He's just marching towards the blue's mines and to check and see how the food situation is going, and how he's going back into the weaponsmith, maybe to the forest to hide. Nice intel in here. I mean, weaker players, they tend to omit the spying game, and he doesn't. So that's a good thing on his part.
Yeah, and at the same time, mclubbe is trying to rebuild, but his ideas for buildings are not too good. I mean, he has some iron in his land. He has like 8 iron ore on his land, so with that he can maybe build some soldiers, like 8 soldiers, 8 of them, 8 spears probably. But for that he needs some more settlers because these are not going to work. So actually it's 1v1 with mclubbe as additional spectator for now at this time if he doesn't do anything.
He needs another a bit of time. Let's put it that way. In order to catch up, he might be able to produce a few soldiers here and there, but nothing too impactful. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Magic added another gold smelter some time ago, so his gold production is ramping up. Currently has almost 70 combat power, 69 to be precise at this point. And it keeps on growing because he has plenty of coal, plenty of fish for the gold.
Yeah, and he's building a lot of new buildings. He will have 4 blacksmiths that will work soon, I guess. He has not enough iron mines for now, but he's building another iron mine soon. He will have the second pig farm I have mentioned. He's building another 2 farms, so he will have 7 farms. And at the same time, captainhannes has only 4 farms and 3 bakeries and 1 pig farm, but the pig farms haven't started working yet. Oh no, they did. He started some meat production. He's building a third blacksmith, but he doesn't have a toolsmith, and he haven't built a third iron smelter. So his proportions of building are way worse. So if I was about to, bet my money, I would bet them on magic.
Yeah, I completely agree. There is 1 hammer left for blue somewhere. I'm not really sure where. Maybe he captured it from Pink. Or maybe it's just in the starting tower. I'm not sure. There are trees all over the place. But if he ever decides to build the toolsmith, it may even work because of that saved hammer somewhere.
Yep. It's not saved, I think. It's just a coincidence. Because his proportions of the builders are just, regular at 25%. So at some point, if he doesn't build the toolsmith, he will just stop. Well, he will need for sure more big access for new mines soon. And magic is able to, expand a lot. He now has 100 soldiers, and captainhannes has 131. So captainhannes has still bigger army, but the proportions of the magic are of course way better, and his production should be quite nice quite soon. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's getting better.
Yeah, neither play wants to attack currently. Mostly, I think, because blue knows he doesn't have enough combat power just yet. And yellow, I think he understands that his army is a bit smaller. Although I'm not really sure if he understands that the composition is better. And maybe once he ramps up the production, as you said, and that's what he's doing, either another weaponsmith, he might choose to attack, because he has plenty of gold, 73 combat power currently.
Yeah, and he's adding another blacksmith, like 5th one now. So he will have food, he will have mines. I think that he just needs like another 5, maybe 10 minutes to have just bigger army than captainhannes, and then somebody will finally make a move. But now I think they're just playing, SimCity at this moment. They just forgot about the fighting part for now on.
And magic looks to be way more stable in that regard.
Yep.
He's building just way more. He has the toolsmith, which is making the huge difference for him. He's adding more hammers. He has 27 shovelers from 15 that you start with, so he almost doubled the number. And he has 29 builders, and that's from 25 that you get from the start. And he has plenty of wood, and he remembers about the stone too. He's adding more stone cutters in the south. He has some of them in the north as well, so he's not running out of stone anytime soon. He remembers to have settlers, which is very important, and he's doing a very good job of that. I mean, many even good players, they forget about settlers, sometimes multiple times during the game. Even very good players. I mean, this is something everybody forgets from time to time, but he does not in this game, which is very, very good.
Well, still nothing is going on in terms of fighting, but it seems that finally all three of the blacksmiths of Magic are working, and only one and a half of captainhannes is working. But captainhannes is making some moves with his soldiers, and he still has a slightly bigger army, even though he doesn't have combat power. But he has a convert finally, and of course Magic also has it.
Magic now sent out on a spy in the middle. Neither player builds a watchtower by the border, so they don't really know how big the armies are, I guess, at this point. Although Magic is scouting with the spy currently. Although what he sees currently is only half of the captainhannes army, because the other half is waiting in the back. Perhaps he will move the spy over there and spot that part of the army as well. I'm not really sure why captainhannes is splitting like that. Maybe he wants Magic to not have a full picture of the army, but he approaches with the spy and he sees it. And now captainhannes maybe will make a move. He's going down. He just grouped the half of his army, and he was going somewhere, not really sure where, but yeah, as you can see, Magic spots it with the spy, and he moves the whole army down. Not really sure if that's the best idea, because now you're leaving top wide open. And I mean, if those swords get onto those two towers up north, 3 even, well, those towers will fall very quickly.
And I think that Magic could hear you, because he just came back with some of his soldiers, and that's a good idea, because captainhannes is going in with assaults, and he might win the north fight.
There is a priest from yellow, so I'm not really sure, and we have to remember, Hans has only 46 combat power. The army looks magnificent, but no combat power, only swords might cause him some issues. There's a convert going down north, so he won't have a convert south, and he's a bit of a...
Yeah, he's out of this convert, so he just won a north fight, but...
He's fighting poorly the south, and there's another army surrounding him from the bottom, although some of the swordmen are occupied with the pioneers, and the north portion of the army dies from blue, and the south has not even joined the fight yet. The surround was a bit late, a little bit of a clusterfuck with that attack. He had a great idea of going from 3 different sides. There's a convert going on. I don't think it was necessary.
Now it's 85 from captainhannes versus 115 from Magic. So Magic has a bigger army.
Bigger army, better composition, and he's defending, so more combat power.
Yeah, way more. And he's producing more soldiers, so actually, from now on, the Lechu Magic team, or I would say Magic Lechu, because Magic is doing the heavy lifting here, is, for the first time in this game, is stronger. But this move is quite risky, I would say. I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
he knows that he killed the North squad of the Blues army, and he just wants to finish off Black before he, rebuilds, because he's managed to establish, I mean, an okay material production. You just have to add more weapons production,
Yeah,
Black,
but
that is.
I think if I was Captain Hannes in this situation, I would just take the swords and try going for the towers. Oh. Again, mclubbe got destroyed, but he still had one tower.
mclubbe is not having the greatest game of his life. He's struggling a little bit, but I mean, he keeps fighting. There's another attack going on from Magic in the south. He noticed that Hans moved most of his army north, and he's using that great move, abusing that there's a mountain still in the middle, and the Hans has to walk all over it, and it slows his soldiers down. Even though swordsmen are very, very fast, they get slowed down in the mountain, and I think Magic will be able to capture at least one tower here.
Yeah. So seems that Magic is doing a combat, I would say. Oh, comeback. I mean, when you look at the situation some minutes ago, he had less soldiers, his ally died, but now he is regaining the land, he has much better production.
And he's fighting very well too. He managed to. He's always making sure that he has at least a few soldiers north, so the tower does not fall. A very smart move, because as we said before, the swordsmen from Blue would be very deadly if they ever got on those towers uncontested. But luckily, so Magic is aware of that, and he's keeping some soldiers at bay in order to defend that location. And at the same time, he's abusing the fact that Blue isn't really moving correctly, and he's splitting the army, and then he's fighting only with half of it, and he's picking squadron by squadron and slowly chipping down on Blue's soldiers count. But he's still making swords, by the way. Yep, he's exclusively making swords. Blue, that is. Magic going for another tower.
That's a major mistake. Yeah, magic, of course, in English. Magic is making gains. And he goes for mclubbe last tower, I think, with a small chunk of his northern soldiers. You know, that the northern soldiers are just recruits, as they're level 2, and the elite army stays on the south, which is level 3.
And we have to understand that it's not all random that he goes there. There is a spy that's now retreating north through the forest, so he saw that there's not really nothing covering those towers, and he can retake those. I would say that's a very nice play. Even the best players sometimes don't have that much map awareness, and they wouldn't use that advantage for themselves when they saw the opportunity. But Magic sees it, and he uses it. He attacks wherever enemy isn't, and he makes it work.
Yeah, I think that would be nice if Magic would try to a bit more about Settlers 3, because he might be quite a talented player. I mean, he just doesn't have knowledge of some things, but he has good ideas and a really great attitude. So that could be nice. And by the way, have you noticed this lonely priest on the land of Magic, on the south part of his land? He's just standing in the woods and watching his swordsman die, and he still stays there. Oh, Magic has just noticed him and is going with two bowmen to kill him. Yeah, mclubbe is dead at the same time.
Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be for him in this game. Now it's all left for Captain Hannes to take this one home. I'm not really sure if he can, considering how developed Yellow's country is at this point. The only thing that might cause some problems for Magic is the settlers count. He's adding another medium house, but soon enough, just building one medium house at a time might not be enough, considering how his production ramped up into 5 weaponsmiths, although one is not working, and 2 gold smelters, and he's adding more. So he has to keep an eye on those settlers, because he wasn't building that much recently, which is understandable, considering how much fighting that he was doing. Magic still respects the swordman from blue, although I think he could have easily attacked it, considering he has 80% combat power, and even though some of his soldiers are injured, some of them very badly, he's not healing them, but I think he could just push and capture those 2 towers and even go even further. We can see...
Oh, he's healing some of them. When you take a look at his healer, he's healing 3 soldiers here at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Hans is splitting some of his army going north. Not quite sure what for, there's no tower here. Maybe he wants to go around, like here, and capture some towers from the back, but I'm not really sure if he's scouting, so I'm not really sure if he knows. Yeah, he has no spies whatsoever, so he doesn't really know where Magic's army is at this point.
And luckily, captainhannes still have this one hammer, and he's building a toolsmith at the same moment. So it's a glimmer of hope for his development in this game.
Yeah, you want to have that toolsmith way early on, before, let's say, the minute 40. You need the tools, even if you go for a rush and you succeed or not, you succeed, and you need the tools to develop further, because as we can see, he's built a number of mines which do not have tools in them, which means they're not really working at all.
Magic just started to build swords, so it seems that he might become a bit more aggressive. I think he should, as he has everything to attack. He has 9 spies at this moment, and he's sending 4 new spies to the captainhannes. He has a convert, so I think he might want to attack soon.
I think he will, once he spots that the enemy is not really, that the enemy's army isn't really expanding anymore, or not as fast as his, and once his squad of, as you said, swordmen reaches the north portion of the map, he'll probably attack from 2 angles, one south and one north above this mountain. I think Hannes expects that because he has some soldiers there, but I don't think it will be enough, at least in the south.
Yeah, you know, what I like about this game is like, well, watching it, I feel more like, you know, the very, they have fun of new players of playing Settlers, you know. They're not disciplined with all the rules, how to build everything, etc. These guys are having pure fun out of this game. They look like it, and I really like it. I really like it.
No, probably right now. Or maybe they're just sweating behind the screen and we don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I really like how the Magic plays. He surprised me with his level of game goes.
If he was to spend more time with us on Discord, we could teach him some tricks about early development, and I think he would be a promising player.
Yep. And he keeps on building. I mean, he's not building as much as in the moment when he was, you know, stressed, but he worked the stress out quite nicely as he was building more and more and more and more instead of just giving up. That's good.
Yeah, I guess he heard me again, because he's adding now 2 medium residences and 1 large one. That should be plenty for his settlers production, and very soon he should be on the attack, on the offensive, I hope.
At this moment, he has almost double size of the captainhannes army. And of course, as you have mentioned many times, he has way better proportions, so I think he could just smash the captainhannes army.
Guess he's moving in with the spies and also with the swords. I'm not really sure why he goes around there. No, he just goes down again. Maybe he wants to clear out the pioneers from blue. Not really sure.
By the way, just a small interesting fact. Even though Lehu is dead, he will soon, as the first middle player, have an access of his mainland to the river, as his pioneers keep on going.
That's true.
So now we know which one of middle players will have this access to the river first. It's Lehu. Congratulations.
And there's an attack going on. Looks to be maybe a final battle of this game. Magic moving in with a convert. Hans does not have a convert, only a festering fear. Magic moving from two sides, south and north later on. Smart move.
I think that Magic doesn't know that this weakening spell doesn't work, like on the enemy land.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. It doesn't matter at this point because he has overwhelming numbers and the composition of the army is just too damn good.
Yeah, and he stopped the swords on the rocks, or stones. Don't want to do a self-promotion. And he just killed them with spears and bows. And at the same time, on the north, Magic is also winning. So it seems that this is going to be the end of the game. And captainhannes just said GG. And this is it, I think.
Yep.
So nothing will happen in this game.
Yeah, and we can see the overwhelming advantage of the correct unit composition. A lot of the Magic's units are injured, but they're not dead, and just the spears have so much resistance to any damage, and they can tank out the the swordmen, and the bowmen just kill them very, very quickly. I believe that's the last tower from Hans on the right hand side, and this game should be over very soon. I think he died. Okay, no, he's been destroyed.
Captainhannes just died.
It was a back and forth game. Surprisingly, I guess the positioning was favoring that sort of play. We were left in the 1v1 most of the time, so that's how. And you can see that in the stats, really. Let's compare the armies of both teams. Surprisingly even, but as we know, captainhannes made purely swords, and it shows in the battles. Almost half the battles of Magic, and Magic on top of that made 212 gold, which is quite a lot for this stage of the game, and considering Hans had no gold whatsoever, he had very slim chances of making anything happen, I would say. The mines also reflect all of that, even though the soldiers count is quite even. Just the gold difference and the amount of resources that the Magic was able to get from the mines and the food and everything. He played this.
captainhannes had a really huge, had a very huge advantage because he took some resources from both mclubbe and Lehu. So this is why I think he had so many soldiers. I mean, in a comparison to Magic, and Magic had to just get all of these resources on his own. So it was really difficult for him to overthrow the dominance of captainhannes.
Yes, that's true, and he was holding on as long as the resources were available. Once he used all of that, Magic started to get farther and farther ahead, and his build was just sharper in my opinion, and he can be happy from himself because he played a pretty damn good game, and they will advance on to the next match in the losers bracket, whereas they have to say goodbye to captainhannes and mclubbe, unfortunately. But they did a pretty good show considering they're new players, and I hope we'll see them in some random games.
Yeah, even though the level of this game wasn't too big, the fun of watching it was quite high.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Rock, for casting, and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.